Okay, so it's Signed Scott here for the Friday Frenzy on TBFM Online. We're sat in the back of the Slade Rooms in Wolverhampton with Cult of Luna, and how are you guys doing today, alright?
Very well. Yeah.
Okay, how was your trip?
I mean, it was short. We played in Sheffield last night, which made it like a 2.5-hour drive.
Okay.
Nothing like Luxembourg, Glasgow that we did the other day.
Yeah, that's a bit of an epic journey.
Yeah, I think it's through 5 countries or something like that.
Okay, cool. So, how's the tour going so far?
It's getting there. I mean, we haven't played in quite a while now, so we're a bit rusty.
Okay.
But I think, I mean, the shows keep getting better and better, I think. I mean, it's hard to know when you're...
Is that hard to say from the front of stage?
Yeah, but still, I mean, I know from experience that it takes 5-6 shows before like new songs really, becomes, easy to play, and you don't have to think what comes next, and you just. And I think that does a whole lot to the presence on stage, but there's no way around it. You need to do those like 5-6 shows.
So is are these UK shows a warm up to the London show? Is that like more of a high profile one for you guys?
I mean, it's not like we tried to do a better show in London than tonight.
I don't think it was. It wasn't planned like that to do a few shows in the UK before London just to warm up. It's just that's the way it is, and we do our best every night. So
great. Okay. So. Personally, what does Cult of Luna mean for you guys as a band?
Well, for me, when it comes to writing music, it's not a why, it's a must. I mean,
feel like you have a duty.
Yeah, but still, I mean, it's a very easy answer question for me. I mean, I'm having a good time. I mean, of course, there's a lot of I mean, I could talk hours and hours about the importance of having some kind of artistic outlet, but still, when it comes down to it, it brings quality to my life. When it comes to me personally, it's to have fun.
Okay, great. And yourself, same question?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same, I guess. I mean, I enjoy doing it because it sort of enriches your life in some sort of way, creatively, and why else would you do it if it doesn't? I mean, there is no other reason to do it, I guess, than that you enjoy it. It's not like it's a big business thing or anything like that. It's just for fun,
So what genre would you categorize yourself as, or do you sometimes get lumped into a genre that you disagree with?
I couldn't care less. Next question.
Yeah, I thought that might be the case. But it's interesting to know how, because some people you interview some bands and they say, we are death, black, thrash metal, or something, and that is it, that's what they do. Yeah. So do you not think it's as important to yourselves?
It's totally irrelevant. I mean, I know there's probably a lot of bands that are very keen on keeping the boundaries of what is kosher in in that kind of musical genre. We're not really like that at all. But it's quite fun to read discussions on the internet, how to
YouTube comments.
Yeah, but it was more fun in like 2003 when they were like really. When there was a lot of discussion, and they had a kind of a subgenre to an incredible, stupid level. It's goth, industrial, post-black.
That was when you did the Beyond, wasn't it? 2003. Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah. It's unimportant for us.
Cool. That's good. All right.
Moving on to Vertical, then. Most areas of the world, that's Friday that comes out, I think. Can you give us a brief description of the album and the new direction?
Well, I mean, we've been laying low with the band for quite a while now, and I mean, we took a conscious decision in 2009, and that we were not going to do much with the band for a couple of years. I mean, we are all different individuals with a lot of different stuff, other stuff in our lives. But when we decided that we were going to make another album, we had a quite extensive mail conversation before that about which direction we want to go, and we felt like, or we started writing to each other about where we have been, where we are now, and where we want to go. We kind of come to an understanding that during like the last two albums, Eternal Kingdom and Somewhere Along the Highway, we had been in a kind of a rural environment. We had some kind of a country vibe, much inspired by the environment in the north of Sweden and all that. So we felt like if we're gonna come back, we need to do 180 degrees and go into the city, go into the future. So we started talking about what constitutes a city and how do you take the concept of a city into a musical interpretation, and how do you make something sound like a city, and what kind of city. And what constitutes a city is human presence. Human presence, how do you do that? A city is industries, it's factories, it's forms that you don't find in naturally, like straight lines, straight angles. So we decided that this album was going to be very monotone. It was going to be, it's called mechanized. We're going to use harsh sounds. We're going to do everything we could to make it sound unorganic and stale. And harshness. That's a very important word. Harshness, repetitive, and that's a word you can use. That created a roadmap, some kind of a blueprint to pretty much everything we did. When it came to guitar sound, to drum recording technique, when it came to the keyboards, you could pretty much put, and it made it easier to write too. Actually, harder to write, but easier to arrange or compose, because we all knew where we were heading. So, like, if Eric came up with the idea that with the guitars we're just going to do downstrokes because it becomes more, stale and more static, well, of course, it falls under the umbrella of this idea that we had. And when they recorded drums, they took the cymbals and recorded them afterwards, just so the drums also would fall in line with the kind of unorganic feel that we wanted to.
So not so much industrial, but unorganic.
Yeah, as soon as you start talking industry, you get into industrial music, and it's not. Yeah, it's not. It's more of an industry as a human aspect of humanity, not as industrial music.
So I know one of the inspirations was the movie Metropolis. I know that the album isn't strictly based on that, but I know that was certainly an inspiration. Were there any other films or TV shows or just art that you were looking at the time that played a part?
I think it's a misconception that it is, like, when we, and I can go back to kind of a male conversation we had. We started sending inspirational pictures back and forth, and a lot of them came from Metropolis, and it had we were inspired by we wanted to create an album that sounded like the 1920s futurists and the cities that they wanted to create. They had a lot of they believed very highly in the mechanized society. It would be a very positive impact, and we were also very inspired by Art Deco and German Expressionism, and Metropolis is kind of a high point of the German Expressionism. So in that sense, it was an inspiration, but not only. And I think there's been too much emphasis on Metropolis, but it's definitely a huge influence.
Okay, great.
Yeah, when it comes to things like the track list on the album, is that something you're conscious of when you're writing the songs, or do you prefer to just write a good collection of songs and then get together and decide how best they fit into one piece as an album?
I think we try to make the kind of songs we would like to do, and then because our track listing is never done sort of during the early writing stages, but we might feel that sort of okay, we need a song that is maybe quieter or whatever on this album also, but I think the sort of composing of the album itself is primarily done maybe when we start feeling how the tracks will sound in the studio, like after the basic tracks are done or whatever, and then you sort of elaborate and sort of you think a lot, I guess, and try to sort of maybe we need this here and this there, and I know for this album we didn't want to end with the longest song, which is a good thing, I think, because we did that on Eternal Kingdom as well with the Ghost Trail, right, Johannes? That was the
No, we didn't.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We did not.
We didn't.
Yeah. Like we did on Somewhere Along the Highway. So it's definitely something that sort of comes along as the recording process is getting sort of longer and longer into the whole thing.
Yeah, talking about like collaborating again and the writing process, do you tend to write everything together as a unit, or do you separate and come back to each other with ideas? Do you find that you're sending ideas to each other a lot, or is everything coming together with you all together, you know, in the studio?
Well, basically, we arrange the songs together, but we need somebody that have that overlooks the process, that have an idea of how a song is going to be composed, and after that, people can, or the different band members can take their individual responsibility as bass player or drummer or guitarist to push that idea even further and help that person to get the best out of that track. So I mean, we live in different cities, which makes the whole process a lot harder, and you cannot, when we have like a weekend or a writing session, we cannot come there with nothing. Somebody needs to have an idea of what we're going to do. So somebody has to oversee the process, but it is the collective effort that really makes the individual songs.
Okay, great. So, one last question about Vertical. What music have you been listening to whilst writing it? Not necessarily metal or hardcore or anything like that, just whatever.
I listen to too much to actually think of any specific artist. I mean, I can have a day when I listen to everything from Gorgoroth to Bats for Lashes to Nick Drake to, I mean, everything.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, but that doesn't separate. I mean, I have a hard time finding new good bands. I find myself getting back to like the music I've always been listening to, like Tom Waits and all that. So, if you guys have any good bands that I should check out, please give me a heads up. I think most of the new stuff I hear is just like repetitions of stuff that I've already heard, which is probably a horrible sign of me getting too old.
Well, how about yourself? Any favourite artists over the last year or two?
Well, to be honest, every day I work with bands in studios, mixing and mastering and sometimes recording. So when I get home, I usually put on something, if anything, something just really calm and just, you know. Yeah, it's kind of the same thing as with Johannes. I sort of just go back to the stuff I've always sort of liked, and I get some new influences from the guys in the band also, because they're much more of a music consumer guys in this band than I am. So I don't know. I don't have any sort of specific stuff either to mention, really.
Yeah, basically I saw you guys in 2009 in Paris, you might remember two drunken English guys in the middle somewhere. It was the Elysee Montmartre. That's right.
It burned down.
Really? I was not aware of this.
Not when you play.
Nothing to do with you guys, no?
Rumored about some insurance fraud, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Okay.
So basically, we just wondered how you might have changed your live setup to accommodate like the new sound. Are there any conscious decisions you've made to change the way you approach playing live?
No. No, I mean we have new equipment. Yeah, some visual stuff. Well, yes. Okay. No, I mean, not when it comes down to the basics. But I mean, we always try to perfect. I mean, we talk the individual shows over afterwards and see what we can do better. But we've always done that, and we have tried to. We have new equipment on this to more accommodate the kind of sound we have on the album. But I mean, it's no major changes when it comes to the to trying to do the best show you can. But we have, I mean, we did say that if we're going to come back, we need to try to perfect our performance, and so we have like the best guys that we have met through the years. We have the best sound engineer, the best light guy, I think the best tour manager, and the best merch guy. And this is kind of a dream team of people that we have met through the years of touring.
Okay, great. So, what's your favourite individually? What's your favourite song to play live?
Yeah, like are there any older songs that you especially enjoy playing that you know?
Oh, no, the older stuff. I mean, there's a lot. There's no old song that you enjoy playing, but there are some. Like, yeah. Look, no. What I was meant. What I mean by that is, new songs are always fun to play because there's nothing new, there's nothing fresh. But there's some old songs that this old song that you get bored with, you don't play them anymore. But there are some songs you'll have like 25% enjoyment out of, like Finland, for example. I'm probably gonna be able to play that in like 20 more years without ever being bored of it. But I don't enjoy playing it as much as, or maybe I do. I don't know.
That's cool.
Out of the old songs, I think Go Straight. And out of the new songs, maybe Vicarious Redemption. That's it.
Okay, great. So, Umeå, Sweden, is that how you pronounce it? Umeå? It's good, close enough for an English person. Yeah, okay, yeah. Right, Umeå, Sweden. Do you get to play around there much? Like, or what's the scene like there? Do you go to shows and things like that?
Both me and Magnus lives in Stockholm, so.
Okay. Well, we can move to Stockholm if you like.
I'm too much of a boring person. I don't get out much. But I mean, Umeå is still my hometown at heart, and there's a lot. I think it's kind of a third or fourth or fifth wave of Umeå hardcore bands that are active. I guess seems to be good. Stockholm is more of a very trend-sensitive city, and I haven't really seen any good stuff coming out of Stockholm. Or maybe I have. I just forgot about it. Maybe
Nothing memorable, obviously.
No.
All Swedish bands come through Stockholm to play, so I mean you can watch shows easily every day, week, whatever. So if you want, you can go to shows, and I've seen some good shows lately.
Is there anyone that you're giving your money to go and see yourselves?
I would recommend Kong.
I actually I haven't paid for a show in quite a while, but I actually paid. Yeah, but I paid to see Wolverhampton. That was well spent money, I think.
Cool.
And I saw. I didn't pay to see him, but I saw Sleep. They were quite good. Not as.
Well, there's one of those like legendary kind of bands.
Yeah, they live off their legendary status. Yeah.
Okay. So where do you enjoy playing the most? As in what country?
Yeah, I'm not thinking countries. I'm thinking stages.
Well, stages. Yeah. What? Where do you get your best reception then?
It's hard. It's a whole. I mean, a lot of countries have pros and cons. For example, like in Luxembourg, we played the other day, and we have a very quiet song that we play, and there were some. And people think that you don't hear talking when you talk in the audience, but we hear everything. So I just shished the audience, and they became dead silent. I would never try that in the UK.
Yeah. Too many hecklers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Actually, not now. I mean, if anyone shouts "play faster" or anything like that, I don't know. But that. I mean, you can take that comment and mail it back to 2006 where it belongs.
Okay.
Yeah, come up with something new, you bastards. We haven't heard that yet, though. But I'm waiting for it tonight, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, perhaps tonight's going to be the night where you can jump off stage.
I've done that twice. Actually, I've hit a guy from stage once. It was here in the UK.
Yeah, it's probably in the.
Yeah, but he was way too much under the influence of some serious drugs, and he grabbed my guitar and he got a fist in his face, and he later came and apologized like 4 days afterwards.
Just getting a bit excited.
Yeah, he got too. I mean, he grabbed my guitar, and that was, but it was a long time ago. I'm a lot calmer now. I hope.
But I mean, all the major cities are good to play. Basically, I mean, London, Paris, Berlin, Stockholm. All those places are always good for us. As Johannes said, it's more about stages and cities than whole countries. It's good and bad places in every country, I think.
Okay, great. So, what do you think of the UK's inability to deal with snow?
But, I mean, both me and Magnus lives in Stockholm, so we are well aware of that. But it was quite fun. I had two friends two friends saw our show yesterday, and one of them had to go before I could meet him because he was afraid of the snow was going to close the road down. And
It was fine when we left. It was
yeah, it was nothing. He should come where we're from. I mean, we're talking 5-6 feet of snow when it's worth. I mean, could it been a third of a feet, an inch of snow? But I mean, both me and Magnus live in Stockholm, and it's like that every year. Wake up call.
Then it's this much.
Yeah, it's a feet maybe, but still, it's incredible. Everything shuts down, but yeah, I mean, we live in the northern hemisphere, and yeah, it snows occasionally, especially during the winter.
It should be expected, really.
Should be expected. It should be expected like last year, and the year before that.
Yeah,
and the year before that.
Great.
Yeah, what have you guys got planned for the rest of the year? But I bet you can't wait to get out there and play the new material to fans across the world.
Yeah, we have our winter and spring. We're planning our summer, and we'll see what we'll do in the fall, and then we'll just have to see.
It's all secret, keeping it close to you.
No, it's no secret. I just don't know.
No plans yet.
Yeah.